All right, thank you everybody, Mr. Dino023 here, and I'm here with Kosmic, the man of the hour, the man of the world records, the Super Mario Brothers legend. How are you doing today, Kosmic?
Life's good. I'm doing good. Having a good day.
Great. Glad to hear that. So you recently broke yet another world record for Super Mario Brothers 1, 455 and I think 600 milliseconds, something like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that world record and how you felt on the way to achieve that?
So it's kind of been not a long time coming, because this wasn't like one of my longest grind sessions for a world record or anything, but it's been like a lot of years in the making, I guess, because I've kind of been like right on the heels of the world record and even gotten it a few times. But usually when I got it, it was expected to be broken again soon because someone else was like going for it as well, or there was like a new frame rule to be saved somewhere. And so I haven't really had this is the 7th time I've gotten the record. I think I tied it to the frame 3 times, and then I've had it untied a few times as well now. But there's only been a couple times in there that I was like truly satisfied, because I didn't just get it with like kind of a new strategy or like barely beat someone. It's like I really got the run that I wanted, especially this time.
Great, nice to hear that. And I know that you went through some struggle all the way to this very point in time where you got this world record. Especially, I remember these 3 infamous like Koopa patterns at the very end of the run that happened in your grind before. So stuff like this, were there any point in time where you thought like, okay, I'm done with this game, I don't want to grind this anymore, this is just too insane? Or did that just fuel your inner fire to just keep pursuing for it?
Oh man, there's like certain struggles I've been through in speedrunning that in the moment they're just awful, but afterwards I'm like really glad that happened, because it just like makes my mentality and stuff stronger for the future. So now it's like, that really sucks when you're so close to getting the goal time. It's like half a second away from the end and you get hit, and the exact same thing happens again, and it's like, this is already hard enough to do once, and I had to do it like 4 times to actually get it. But I'm glad it happened, and I don't know, it was really a struggle, and maybe ended up taking a couple more months than it should have, but I'm pretty satisfied in the end. It makes for a good story at the very least.
It does, it definitely does. And speaking about good stories, you made the headlines like a year and a half ago in like every place, especially with the first 455. And now you're the first one also getting sub 19 for the WR Plus category in SMB. These are huge milestones for this game. How do you feel about being the first one achieving these milestones? And do you think milestones are really that important for speedrunning, or do you think they're just cool stories but really not that important?
Right. I think they're important just because they help move the game along, and that's about it. I think people value too much like certain milliseconds over others, or like seconds over others. Like the difference between, if let's say a game is at like 1 hour flat, like Mario Odyssey, and then to 59.59, that 1 second they save isn't actually more important than all the other ones they save. But just the fact that they broke this like barrier that we sort of arbitrarily set as mankind, then people are like, okay, it's possible, and then they can move on from there. So a lot of times we come up to these like milestones, these barriers, and it's important that someone breaks them, mostly just so that people can move on and like acknowledge it's possible and then keep progressing from there.
Great. Well, one of these milestones achieved you also the very first place on the recent top 50 world records of 2019. That was voted by the community. It was over 1,000 votes, and you made it to the very first place on that list. How do you feel about that?
That makes me really happy, because I actually like Warpless in Super Mario Bros. A lot more than any %. I feel like, I mean, quite literally you get to play a lot more of the game, but like actually you get the Fire Flower, you like experience a whole lot more of things in the game that aren't necessarily in the any % run. and it's not like every single level there's this stupid hard trick that you're probably going to reset on. Like, you get to feel like you actually do runs, and there's like opportunities to save time and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that like a whole bunch of people voting acknowledged that, you know, this is a big deal, a really cool Super Mario Bros. War Plus speedrun. That makes me happy, because usually 80% gets kind of all the attention.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think both are really, really impressive. I know, or I think that Warpless still has a little bit more of quote-unquote easy time saves, really not easy compared to like any percent. But in terms of you speedrunning the game, do you want to pursue more of those possible time saves on any of these categories? Or you are just gonna be moving to like different stuff now?
Yeah, definitely. I actually want to save like several more seconds on my Warpless run. But because I played that for like a lot of last year, there's other things that I've been waiting to get to. So I'm probably going to play like a number of other categories and games probably before I get back to Mario Bros. War Plus. But when I do, I pretty much already have it planned out. Like, here's the strats I'll go for to get 1858, 57, 56, wow. Maybe 55.
Wow.
Because the time is there. Like, technically you can even go a few seconds past that, but that's getting too much. It's already a lot on its own. But yeah, I have faster Bowser kills. I have yeah, just like a lot more stuff on the table that it's just it wasn't like worth going before just to get this sub 19, but now you gotta break out all the stops, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if we see that, it's definitely gonna be impressive. I want to know a little bit more about like your origins on speedrunning. How did you decide to pursue this hobby, and when was the time where you did like, you know what, I think I can get world records, I'm gonna go after them? Like, how did it all started for you?
Yeah, I really like the way you phrased that, because there kind of was a progression there of like, I'm interested in this thing, I'm actually doing this thing, and like now I'm going for world records. And it started just because I like to watch YouTube videos of like glitches and things like that. Like, I would see Mario Kart 64 lap skips or something and then go try them. And then like Ocarina of Time, I saw like super slides and like hovering in Majora's Mask, and I would just mess around with that. But there were certain things I would try and I was like, this is way too hard. I could never like be a speedrunner, which is really funny looking back. Don't doubt yourself, just go for it. But actually, one of the people that I would watch these videos from, his name was Brian MP16. He found like Mega Flip in Ocarina of Time. He's like really old kind of pioneer. And he uploaded this video about Ocarina of Time Bingo, which is sort of like the original randomizer, where the game wasn't actually randomized, but the goal was. Yeah. And so it had a lot of replayability, and in the description he had speedruns live. And I thought it was so cool that people just get on there and they just like race bingo and keep playing the game and in all these different ways. And so that like really lowered the barrier to entry for me, because I could just get on there and I'm not thinking like, oh, I need to make this perfect speedrun to submit to Speed Demo's archive or something. I'm just racing for fun. So I did that, and one day I saw a race. People were getting ready to race Super Mario Bros. So I joined that. Took me over an hour to do any percent, and other people in the race got like 6 minutes. And I was like, I want to try and get like down to the time that they got. So I just like worked down to that. And then I saw Warpless run one day and I joined that, and took like an hour and a half or something. And other people got like 22 minutes. So I was like, I just want to try and get that time. And once I worked down to there, I looked at the world record that was on Speed Demo's archive at the time. It was 1940. And I'm so used to the any percent run having this prestige of like being all super optimized and stuff. But the Warpless run, I was like, there's some kind of glaring mistakes in this. Like, there's time to save. Why? Yeah. You're not supposed to be able to beat world records in Super Mario Bros. But there was like clearly time to save. So I just went at it, and eventually I got it. So that was in November 2012. And that sort of like flicked a switch in my mind of like, oh, I can get world records. And I just kept going from there.
Great, that's really good story. And it definitely, I think it's like a chip in your mind that changes. I mean, in your case for world records, But I also think like there's a shift in the mindset that changes once you start speedrunning a game. And I think like the approach to every single game, even if it's a blind playthrough of a game, I think you kind of see things differently once you like speedrun and you have gone through like learning strats and all that. Do you think that has changed your experience with brand new games for you? And is there ever a time that you would have, let's say, hope or wish you didn't know speedrunning so that you can enjoy games differently?
No, I think in every way speedrunning has enhanced my casual playing of a game. Like even, especially like older games that, you know, a lot of times they're really challenging. Like if I go back and play some NES title I never played, or, you know, whatever platform, it's like you get to some part that you don't know how to do, and you pull out like your problem solving, like strat finding kind of skills and like figure out how to get past this. And even just the fact of like trying to be good at the game as I'm playing it, that wasn't really a thing as much before. And yeah, I don't know, a lot of the games, this is a funny thing where I would go to my friend's house and he liked to play a lot of like first person shooter games, and I always lost. Sometimes we'd go to like LAN parties where you like hook up 2 Xboxes, 8 players, and I always got last, like every time, because I'm just not good at those games. I didn't play them that much. And then one day my friend's brother saw me like doing a run for SGDQ 2013, and he was like, what the heck, I thought he sucked at games. So kind of a tangent, but my whole point is that the games I like to play and that I was good at were more like single player platformers. And normally you don't really think of being good at single player games as much, but that's why speedrunning's cool. So yeah, I guess kind of long-winded answer to your question, but it just like trying to like be good and like figure out things about games as I play them is really fun.
Great. And I like your answer. Yeah, it's definitely like, I guess, different approaches to different type of games, and clearly you're one of the best on the 2D platformer scene for sure, especially for Super Mario Brothers. Now let me ask you something about this. A lot of people, and I know that you follow the Smash competitive scene, and a lot of people are trying to make something kind of esportsy or competitive about speedrunning. And you clearly run one of the most competitive games. I mean, just the data in speedruns.com clearly shows that it's one of the most run games. But what are your feelings about trying to shift the focus on speedrunning towards like a more competitive type of environment?
Yeah, I don't know if like shift the focus is right. I think that's why a lot of people get all up in arms about it, because that's not what speedrunning is to them. They just want to like play the game, and maybe they enjoy kind of their small little niche community. But I don't think like there's a problem with also having competitive. And like, I don't know, I really just see no reason. One of the biggest barriers with making speedrunning like that is just the fact that we all play so many different games. Like if you have a Smash community or whatever, they just like play, there are different Smash games, but like there's a ton of people who play Melee or Smash Ultimate or whatever. So like they all can play and like have these big tournaments. But in speedrunning, you can have like thousands of speedrunners, but like 10 of them play one game. And then like 20 of them play a different game or whatever. So it's really hard to have these big tournaments. But if you can, like, just why not? If I had some like local game store that was hosting like a Mario Bros speedrunning tournament, like why would I not go to that, right? Yeah. Just like they host, you know, card game tournaments or like Smash tournaments or whatever. I've always wanted to do that, and it just stinks that we all play these different games. And if we grow enough that we can have the opportunity to do those kind of tournaments, I think they're super fun, and we shouldn't like freak out just because there's like money involved. I don't know. It just seems like an opportunity for someone to like do more with this thing they already enjoy, and then other people might get interested in it because of that aspect as well.
And I agree. And like you said, like probably shift the focus was not the right wording. It's like, why can't you have like both words at the same time? Like, they don't compete with each other. Like they can both exist at the same time. So let me ask you just a couple more questions. have you ever seen speedrunning and, well, all of this like Twitch and content creation and all this like as a career, or for you it's always gonna probably be a hobby?
I've always, well, I never thought I would make like any kind of money on it really. So I'm like honestly really fortunate that it does pretty much help me stay afloat while I'm in school. But just for me personally, I would feel like more stable in my life having like a proper job or whatever. So like I'm getting a degree in computer science. I'm going to do that for work. But yeah, I think it is really cool that people can do that. And I even potentially could if I tried to, maybe. I'm not sure if I would, just the way my life works out. I think it makes more sense not to. But yeah, I think the potential for that's definitely there, and it's really cool that that's possible.
Hey, that's great. And yeah, there's definitely like living proof people of doing that, right? A career.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of them are doing pretty good, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But all right, great. So Cosmic, before we close up, is there anybody you would like to tell people that are probably watching this, like what we can expect for Cosmic in probably this 2020, 2021? What's like the future for you as a player, as a speedrunner, or maybe any other goals video game wise that you want to set up for yourself?
Right. So I did make kind of this 2020 speedrunning goals list at the start of the year, and right at the top of it was Super Mario Bros. Any %. So we're doing great on our goals for this year because we already got that. But after that was pretty much like all the other categories in Super Mario Bros. Like a bunch of categories in Lost Levels. I've been playing a lot of Billy Hatcher recently too. The coolest hidden gem in speedrunning. Such a good game. So yeah, that's pretty much what you'll be seeing. Last year, or I guess it was in 2018, I had #1 in all the main categories in Super Mario Bros. And then like I've lost all of them. I even should have lost Warpless recently because GTA's got to the end and got hit by Bowser. Like what happened to me. So he actually would have taken that world record. Like he pretty much deserved it. But yeah, so that would have put me at like no records in Super Mario Bros. Anymore. But we're gonna try and get them all back. See if we can sweep the leaderboard one more time this year before. I think each category is gonna get a little too crazy to be able to do that ever again. So gonna try and get that one more time. It's really cool to see like the first place trophy next to every category.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll be really pushing for that and then moving on to Lost Levels.
Great. Well, I definitely think it's gonna be fun watching you like grind and try to get those first places in every category again, like those board swipes. And anybody watching this, if you wanna see more of that of Cosmic, like trying to beat these world records, all the social media for Cosmic where you can find him is gonna be listed here on the description down below on the video. But in the meantime, Cosmic, thank you so much for taking this interview and this time around. Definitely best of luck on any world record pursuits that you decide to do this year. And once again, congratulations for recently beating your Any % time again and getting that world record back.
Thanks so much, dude. Thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun to talk about.
Thank you.